Great. Thank you so much for staying with us now after that session we had of tasting, a variety of foods from Teso community with Foods of Kenya from our sister station KTN Home. We now switch gears to a conversation on drug abuse, and this is following a report by NACADA organization that says about 16.9% of primary school pupils are using at least one drug and substance abuse. Really shocking details there, I must say. And of course, that is why we're having the conversation today. Remember, you can engage us on our social media handles at KTN News KE, at Grace Korea KE. I'll be happy to sample your feedback, your questions, your comments to my guests in studio. Now, I have Sylvia McKenna here, who is a high school teacher, and to my extreme left, I have Isaac Ndongo, who is a recovering alcoholic. Yes, that's the right term to use. Great. We'll also be joined by Morris Kamenderi, who is the research officer NACADA, and in fact I want to start with him, only that he'll be joining us by way of phone. But good morning, Morris Kamenderi, the research officer NACADA. Thank you so much for joining us today. I want you to start with telling us more about this report, because it is really, really shocking. In fact, a part of it read that there a 4-year-old who is using cigarettes. I mean, it's really shocking. Maurice, just tell us more about this report.
Yeah, this report actually covered primary school pupils between class 5 to 8. And actually, the findings are shocking, as you say, because we had done another survey for secondary schools, and actually we realized that actually these problems are starting much, much earlier. Mm-hmm. And therefore, that's what informed this current survey. And as you're saying, is that actually we confirmed that actually primary schools are not drug-free as we thought before. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Maurice, before I get to my other guests who are with me in studio, and before I let you go, how did we get there? How does a 4-year-old even know what a cigarette is in the first place?
Yeah, I think what came out clearly that we are dealing with the challenges of the environment, because most of our children actually emulate the environment under which they are brought. For example, when you go to the home, that's where we found the most serious risk factor for drug use, because you find that the child's role model is a parent, a father or a mother. Mm-hmm. And therefore, when you find that the father or the mother is using alcohol or drugs, basically these children will like to emulate that, because they see that like as if it's something good to do, and therefore that's how the children are also put at risk in terms of emulating their parents. Mm-hmm. When you go to school again, you find that the teacher is a model, and therefore, for example, when the teacher is smoking, maybe within the school environment or school compound, you find that actually that child will go knowing that actually smoking is good, and therefore when they get a chance, they are likely to experiment that. Mm-hmm. Also, you find that another risk factor was that actually when children are moving from home to school, again, that's another environment whereby you find that actually the pupils who actually are not able to or don't have a guardian or a parent, or they don't use a school bus. Again, those children had a higher risk of being using drugs, and therefore we're saying that more or less we need to be cautious, especially the parents. They do their role of role modeling in terms of impacting more positive values to their children. Mm-hmm. And again, it's also that the children who are assertive in terms of, like, I can say no to resist peer pressure again, they're protected against drugs. And therefore, you're saying maybe it's high time the parents and the teachers need to impact the right skills so that a child can say no to peer pressure, and a child can say actually no, and when they say no, it is no. Mm-hmm. A child again is able to manage the emotional challenges that go with that. And therefore we find that also during school holidays again, that was when most of these pupils are likely to use drugs. Mm-hmm. And therefore we are telling parents they need to be aware and they need to be more vigilant in terms of looking at their children when they're on school holidays, because that's the time they're likely to use drugs. Mm-hmm. So, and also the other issue was again the structures around the schools. For example, the bars that are near schools or the shops or kiosks. near the schools. Again, those were found to be the sources of the major sources of drugs, and also including the school workers, because we find that the school workers, they're basically not they're actually they need to be vetted by the school management, because of also found to be actually conduits of sources of drugs in schools.
Okay.
And therefore, again, you're saying those are again areas to look at.
Okay, Maurice, stay with me because I now want to rope in my guests in studio, Sylvia and Isaac here. Before I let you go, Maurice, Sylvia, as a high school teacher, of course you have encountered, the students that you teach in school, and they're fast in primary before they get to high school. Is there any question you have for Maurice here, the research officer, because they're the ones who carried out the research in terms of even saying that 16.9% of primary school pupils are using at least one drug and substance abuse? Is there anything you would like to pose to him?
I would not really want to ask a question because it's something that is there. And I don't know how we can be helped. I don't know how the students can be helped so that they can be able to get help out there. If NACADA could actually help them, it will be better. So I don't think I have a question, but it's actually true what NACADA has posted.
Isaac, any contribution to what Maurice was telling us there?
Yeah, thank you, Grace. Now, I'll simply just concur with everything what he's talking about. Now, the main challenge will be to the society itself, because as he's stating the question from the society, from the family, these are things which the society can do to address that. But you see now, there's an attitude of laxity. It's like hands off. These things are happening, but the society is not doing anything about it. The responsibility is upon, for example, young kids. You see somebody walking into a pub, but you see now, you as an adult, you don't take that responsibility. So unless now, from the NACADA point of view, mass education is engaged, I think that is where now the issue can be addressed.
Sure.
That is what I comment on that.
Sure.
I concur with what he's saying.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Maurice, Isaac is talking about mass education, from your end as NACADA. I would like to know what's the way forward for you, after the study you had, the research you had rather, and this shocking statistics. What is the way forward in terms of, bringing these numbers down, if possible, to zero?
So there are actually clear areas that we need to go into. Number one is the issue of trying to see what are the opportunities that we can introduce our skills in our schools, so that we start prevention efforts at the basic level of education instead of waiting late in the system to intervene. Because we want to see whether we can be able to actually achieve abstinence of the children, or even delay the onset into drugs. Because we know if they sustain that behavior, they are likely to be addicted in future. And therefore we are saying we need to start by introducing prevention efforts at the basic level of education. Number two, we also establish that our guidance and pattern teachers are not well prepared to handle these issues. And therefore we are saying we need to capacity build our teachers who are doing guidance and counseling, so that they may be able to attend to issues of drugs and other risk factors around drugs in schools. And also in the curriculum, for those who are training, we see how we can be able to review that curriculum so that it is able to handle those issues of drug management and prevention in schools. The other area was also really around children access or minors who access areas where alcohol is sold. And therefore, they are accompanied by their parents to these areas. And those children actually have a high risk of using drugs. And therefore, we are saying also, in terms of enforcement of laws, because there's a law against that, we say actually we need to intervene so that that thing does not occur. Number two, the issue of access. Because we find that actually tobacco was one of the most used drugs. And actually, there's a ban against using single cigarettes. But when you go along our streets, you find that actually there are still people who sell single stick cigarettes, and therefore making it very accessible to these young ones.
Okay.
And therefore we are saying we need to also to enforce the law the Tobacco Control Act of 2007, so that learning of access is actually addressed.
Sure.
Number two, you're also saying that we need to look at the school environment and help schools to come up with policies on drugs, so that the schools can be able to manage and identify some of these risk areas and address them, and also advise the schools on how we can manage issues of drugs. Maybe those people who are already on drugs, how can we be able to manage them so that we can be able to address this issue?
Okay. Okay.
And also maybe even setting some clubs like functional clubs, like clubs for sobriety clubs in schools, which can give learners maybe a chance to interact and on these areas around drugs. And therefore, those are some of the glaring areas that we felt that we need to go into as soon as possible. And therefore, we're saying we are going to collaborate more with the Ministry of Education so that some of these programs can be able to be initiated as soon as possible.
Okay, Maurice, thank you so much. We were speaking to Maurice Kamendere there, who is a research officer with NACADA, of course, telling us more about that report that really reveals, shocking details in regard to the use of drugs and substance abuse among primary school pupils. Now, he has mentioned schools, and that's where I'll be roping you in, Sylvia. But I want to start with you, Isaac. Just take us through your journey in addiction. When did it start? How did it start?
Okay, thank you once again. Now, to be brief, I can talk of you've just had cigarettes being mentioned. So at Form 2, Form 3 level, that's where I started smoking. And then by the time I went, I followed the old system, the A-level system. By the time I finished my O-level as a form of normally what students say, you've passed. So I took a few drinks, then went to Form 5, Form 6, and then I proceeded, entered university. Now that's where now the students are financed, popularly what is known as the boom. So I could be able to finance my drinking.
You said?
The boom.
The boom.
Normally, but at that particular time, it was referred to as the boom.
Okay.
So at that particular time, you could be able to finance your drinking, smoking, though you're still doing it not in the open as such, because the parents are still not for that idea. But it progressed like that. I'm a teacher by profession. Then when I was employed, it progressed like that. And then I started having problems with my employer, that is the Teacher Service Commission. A number of interdictions, and then finally I was dismissed. So I slowly graduated into alcoholism. If there was an earlier intervention, it would not have reached the stage where it reached. So it reached a point where I hit rock bottom. And these are some of the people I have to mention: my mom, my mother, who had to put up with me, and my sister, who connected me with Sergeant Kimenchu. Kimenchu is the one who actually facilitated my being aired on air. And then a certain Madam Joyce, who's the proprietor of the Bridge Center, offered me a full scholarship to within her rehabilitation center. So once I was through with the program, there I was, going back to society, and I'm idle. What do I do? So I requested, can I be retained so that I can keep myself a bit busy? So I've been on and off. Whenever I get a teaching opportunity, I go and teach, and then go back to rehab. So in short, that's been my story.
You're still in rehab?
I'm still in rehab as a counselor. Yes.
As a counselor?
As a counselor.
Right,
yes.
Right. I'm interested in that word, even as I was asking you what's the most appropriate word to use, recovering alcoholic.
Yes, good.
And I've previously done, such stories, and that's the word that is normally used out there. Why recovery alcohol?
Yeah, very, very good. In fact, I wanted to clarify on that.
Yeah.
Now, we normally refer to ourselves as recovering alcoholics or recovering addicts because it's, so to speak, a permanent disease. There's no way you're going to recover. You'll always be in a recovery. It's a lifetime disease. So the only thing which you do is learn how to manage yourself.
Yes.
How to manage yourself. Because if you're off guard, anytime you can relapse. That's why it's termed as a chronic relapsing disease. If you're not on your toes, anytime you'll find yourself back to the situation you're in. So don't go in that comfort zone and say that I'm recovered. No, there is no way you'll recover.
Okay.
You'll always be at that level of managing your lifestyle.
Sure.
Yes.
And Isaac will be telling us more about that. Sylvia, thank you once again for joining us. Now, I want you to tell us about, your experience as a teacher, whether you've encountered, some of your students engaging in, this drugs and substance abuse, which is really sad, I must say.
Okay, thank you, Grace, for having me. Yes, it's there. It's you just say it as it is. It's there, and it's something that we encounter daily, on a daily basis. And it's sad that these days we don't really have so many recovering centers where we can take our students to. But it's sad that our students as young as 11 or 14 are engaging in such activities. And what I would really urge NACADA, when I was in high school, we used to have this club. It was called SCAD, Students Campaign Against Drugs. If they could go to all schools, whether boarding schools or day school, to really encourage students to have these clubs in them. Because the society, first of all, with schools like day schools, the society really plays a big role, because the environment that the scholars go to, they go to an environment where they can't see their parents all the time. Their parents are busy looking for money here and there, and what they're left to do is to go to their peers who maybe are hanging out in drug dens or even in bars, and those are the places that they hang out with. They hang out in, and in such places they'll only get to know about drugs more than to know about any other thing. Yeah.
Okay. The report also talks about school holidays, and in fact, just to quote it, it says school holidays top the list of the periods they abuse the drugs, with inter-school competitions and weekends getting a mention too. What do we do? What do parents do, because during the school holidays, of course, they're at home. What should they do to avert this?
During the school holidays, I'll urge parents to engage their children in activities that will put their minds off taking drugs. Like, for example, they can be taken to CITAM usually have this DVBS, which they can attend to. It's a program that can take them a week, and even check on their homework. Sometimes these teachers give them homework that they're supposed to do over the holiday. They can also insist on checking the homework instead of just leaving them there, because parents these days are usually so busy. You find that a parent will say, I'd rather go get money for your fees next term, so don't disturb me with these things here and there. So the same way they're going to look for money, they should also think about their children back at home and give them something that will keep them busy other than their peers. Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a short break, but of course we'll be back with this conversation. I see your feedback. Continue sending it in at Grace Kuria KE at KTNSK. We're back with this conversation shortly.